Today, we are discussing Canadian terrorism, also known as Khalistani terrorism, with a focus on its propaganda. Please like and subscribe to this video. Canadian terrorism and the Khalistani movement. Understanding the complexities. Terrorism has been a topic of global concern for decades, and Canada is no exception. In recent years, there has been increased focus on Khalistani terrorism within Canada, where a faction of the Sikh diaspora has revived calls for an independent Sikh state known as Khalistan. While not representative of the broader Sikh community, these separatist sentiments have raised concerns about radicalization, extremism, and terrorism within Canadian borders and abroad. This article delves into the history of the Khalistani movement, its impact on Canada, and the complexities surrounding it. Like and subscribe to this video. Origins of the Khalistan movement. The Khalistan movement traces back to the post-independence era in India. After India's independence from British rule in 1947, the Sikhs, one of India's major religious communities, advocated for recognition of their unique religious and cultural identity. Initially, this push was for political autonomy and linguistic recognition within the Indian Union. However, over time, some factions began to seek full independence, desiring a sovereign state called Khalistan, which would comprise parts of Punjab in India. Like and subscribe to this video. The movement gained significant traction in the 1970s and 80s, with rising discontent among certain sections of Punjab's Sikh population over issues like political representation, economic resources, and religious rights. Tensions culminated in violent clashes, particularly in 1984, when Indian Prime Minister Indira Gandhi ordered a military operation at the Golden Temple, a sacred Sikh site, to root out militants. This incident led to a wave of anti-Sikh violence and deepened grievances that some radical groups used to fuel the call for an independent Khalistan. The diaspora connection and the role of Canada. During the period of political unrest in Punjab, many Sikhs migrated abroad, including to Canada, the United Kingdom, and the United States. Canada, in particular, became home to one of the largest Sikh diasporas in the world, with a community that has grown both economically and politically. Like and subscribe to this video. For the majority of Sikh Canadians, integration into Canadian society has been smooth, and they have made significant contributions in fields ranging from business and education to politics and arts. However, a small minority within this community harbors pro-Khalistan sentiments. Over the years, a subset of these separatist supporters in Canada has been linked to calls for violence and extremism to achieve the Khalistani goal. Some of these groups have been accused of using Canadian soil to raise funds, promote separatist agendas, and plan terrorist activities targeting India. The Air India bombing. A turning point. One of the most significant instances of Khalistani terrorism on Canadian soil was the 1985 Air India bombing. Flight 182, en route from Toronto to London, was bombed over the Atlantic Ocean, killing all 329 people on board, most of whom were Canadian citizens. This tragic event, the deadliest act of aviation terrorism before 9/11, was orchestrated by extremists with ties to the Khalistani movement. The bombing remains a dark chapter in Canadian history, highlighting the extent to which radicalization could manifest within Canada. This attack brought international attention to the potential dangers of Khalistani terrorism and compelled Canada to take action against radical elements within its borders. However, the complex nature of the diaspora and Canada's commitment to freedom of expression made it challenging to balance national security concerns with respect for individual rights. Like and subscribe to this video. In recent years, pro-Khalistani sentiments have resurfaced among some Canadian Sikh groups, sparking concerns about radicalization and foreign policy implications. Certain events, such as Khalistan-related rallies and political figures attending gatherings with pro-Khalistani sentiments, have sparked tensions between India and Canada. The Indian government views such events as a threat to its sovereignty and has called upon Canada to take action against these groups. In response to security concerns, Canadian intelligence and law enforcement agencies have strengthened their focus on identifying and monitoring extremist groups. Public Safety Canada and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, or RCMP, have collaborated with global intelligence networks to prevent and counter terrorism. This includes keeping an eye on any radicalized individuals and extremist groups that could threaten public safety. Like and subscribe to this video. The issue of Khalistani terrorism in Canada raises complex questions about immigration, identity, and national security. Canada prides itself on being a multicultural society that respects the diverse backgrounds of its citizens. But this also requires a delicate balance between cultural freedom and safety. The presence of Khalistani extremism in Canada is a multifaceted issue with historical, social, and political dimensions. While the vast majority of Sikhs in Canada are peaceful, law-abiding citizens, the influence of a small radical minority has occasionally caused friction both domestically and in international relations. Addressing this issue will require Canada to work closely with India and the international community to prevent terrorism, uphold safety, and foster understanding between nations. The story of Khalistani extremism in Canada highlights the challenges faced by countries with large, diverse immigrant populations, as they balance respect for cultural freedoms with the need to ensure national security. As Canada continues to address this issue, it does so not only to protect its citizens, but also to uphold the values of peace, democracy, and tolerance that form the foundation of Canadian society. Like and subscribe to this video.